Now, let's talk about electronic speakers. So, electronic speaker is, in effect, a speaker used to project sound from a device to improve sound quality and make it louder. Now, these speakers can be used to play music, listen to the radio, and also to podcasts if you want the sound quality to be louder, or if you want to have multiple people listening to the same source of audio. Now, there are speakers specifically made for TVs as well to improve their own audio quality. Now, some different types of speakers include Bluetooth speakers, USB and aux speakers, and Wi-Fi speaker systems as well. Now, these are the most common types of speaker systems, but there are different types, and there are types used for different purposes. Now, in addition to this, there are different brands and options for each of the aforementioned types of speakers that are useful for their own different purposes. Now, let's talk about Bluetooth speakers. Now, Bluetooth speakers are small, portable speakers that are wirelessly connected to a device. They don't have to be plugged into an outlet while being used. Now, Bluetooth speakers do, however, need to be charged when their battery is low. And usually when this happens, the speaker itself will notify you. Now, you shouldn't have to worry about charging it too often because most Bluetooth speakers have multiple hours of battery life before needing to be recharged. All that needs to be done to use them is to pair them with your device, such as a smartphone or a computer, and you'll be connected to the speaker. Now, there is a past webinar on Bluetooth technology that, if you do have the slideshow with you, you can click on the link to view that past webinar. Now, some benefits of Bluetooth speakers include the fact that there are many different brands and types of speakers that all have their own individual advantages. When looking to buy a Bluetooth speaker, it's important to consider what features you want your speaker to have and choose the one that'll work best for your needs. Now, Bluetooth speakers can be portable and wireless. Many of them are waterproof, many of them are drop-proof, some are dust-proof as well, and some can also connect to more than one device at a time so that a lot of people can play music. Now, one brand of Bluetooth speakers is called Ultimate Ears. Now, Ultimate Ears is a brand that has many different options for Bluetooth speakers. These speakers have 360 sound. They come in many different sizes and colors, and they are waterproof, dustproof, and drop-proof. Now, some examples of these speakers from this brand include the Hyperboom, which is their biggest and loudest speaker, coming in at $500 approximately. There's the Megaboom 3, which has great sound quality and good bass quality as well. It can often clock between $199.99 to $249.99. Then there's the Boom 3, which is a smaller version of the Megaboom 3. That can clock in at approximately $200. There's the Wonder Boom 2 as well, which is their smallest and most portable speaker, which clocks in at between $99.99 and $129.99. And all of these speakers can be purchased on the website for Ultimate Ears. Moving on, there's the JBL brand of speakers, which is a brand that's well known for their quality. They have many different options and colors for their speakers as well, and a lot of their options are small and waterproof. So some examples of their brand products include the JBL Flip 5, which is waterproof and it's small and has 12 hours of playtime. That clocks in at between $99 to $159.98. And then there's the JBL Go 3, which is also small and waterproof, but this one has 5 hours of playtime, but it is significantly cheaper at $69.98. There's the JBL Charge 4, which is, like the previous ones, waterproof. This one has 20 hours of playtime and clocks in at $169.98. And then there's the JBL Clip 3, which is small, waterproof, just like the other ones, and this one has 10 hours of playtime. which is in between the 12-hour and 5-hour options, and this one clocks in appropriately at 89.98. And all of these, similarly to the Ultimate Ears one, this can be bought on the website for JBL, which is linked in the slideshow if you want to check that out later. Then moving on, to connect to a Bluetooth speaker, what you'll want to do is pair it to your device. And usually this can be done by pressing a button on the device itself. And usually these speakers, when you buy them, they'll have instructions with them, maybe in the box or maybe somewhere else, that'll show you what button you need to press. Then on your device, after you press the pair button, you'll need to go to the Bluetooth option in your device's settings. And once you're there, you press the pairing button on the speaker, and the name of the speaker should show up in the other devices category or in the pair new device category. Now, after that, you press the name of your speaker, and it should pair, and you should be connected to the speaker. Now, once the speaker is paired to the device, you can easily connect to it again in the future. Most Bluetooth speakers will connect automatically to a paired device when they're turned on, but this isn't always the case. If your speaker doesn't connect automatically, all you need to do is go to the Bluetooth option in settings and make sure that Bluetooth is turned on. And then press the speaker name under the My Devices category. Now let's move on to the USB and aux speakers category. Now, these speakers are generally older than the Bluetooth speakers, but they are still useful in many different situations. Now, instead of connecting to a device wirelessly, the speaker plugs directly into the device. Some examples of this can be seen in later slides, but these are incredibly similar to, say, wired headphones, if you are familiar with those. Now, these are often easier to use than Bluetooth speakers, and they can have an excellent sound quality. Now, these speakers are useful for a more permanent setup. For example, if you just want to have a speaker set up near your computer and you don't want to change it very often, then it's useful to have a USB or an aux speaker. Now, they're great to have connected to a computer since the sound always comes out of the speakers as long as they're connected. Now, they're also easier to use because you just need to plug them in. You don't need to go into settings. You don't need to press the button on the device. And you also don't need to charge them, so you don't have to worry about battery life or the like, because they're plugged into the computer itself. And one other benefit of these speakers is that they're usually a lot cheaper than other options as well. Now, wired speakers are still available, but Bluetooth speakers are nowadays much more common. Wired speakers can still be a good option to use, however, it's important to keep in mind that you might not have the same variety when you're choosing which speaker you want to use when you're using a USB or aux speaker. Now, some different examples of USB and aux speakers aren't really focused on by companies, right? Since nowadays companies do, as mentioned before, want to make a lot more Bluetooth speakers. So going to a company's website might not be the easiest way to buy one. And it may be hard to find USB speakers, but it's not impossible. Looking on a website for a retailer such as Best Buy or Amazon will still be a relatively easy way to find these speakers. So some examples of these include the Microsoft modem, the Logitech Z50, or the Lenru. I believe that's how it's pronounced. So the Microsoft modem, Logitech, and Lenru can all be bought from Best Buy and Amazon, right? The Microsoft one is the most expensive, clocking in at $129.99, and Logitech and Lenru are less expensive. The Logitech is $33.99 and the Lenru is $27.99. And these aren't the only options. There are so many more options for USB and aux speakers. These are just some common ones, right? That can be found online from Best Buy or Amazon. Now, speaker systems are similar, but they're also a lot more specific in regards to the scenarios that you'll want to use them in, right? These ones are even more permanent than the USB and aux systems, and they're great for doing things like providing surround sound, for example, in a room throughout your house. Now, they're often connected to Wi-Fi and can be accessed by any device paired to a Wi-Fi network. They pair together easily, which creates the surround sound itself, and they're also useful if you want multiple people to be able to easily use the speakers because they're controlled by devices connected to the Wi-Fi itself for a specific building or area. Now, one example of this is one that you might have seen a lot in advertisements, and that is Sonos. Now, Sonos is a speaker company that makes Bluetooth speakers, but they focus primarily on speaker systems. Now, they have a lot of different options for speakers for different prices, and these Sonos speakers, they're not Bluetooth, but they're also not like most wired speakers. They're wireless in the sense that you don't need to plug them into a device, but what you do need to do is plug them into a electricity outlet. And as mentioned before, like with most speaker systems, you can control what plays out of the speakers by using Wi-Fi. So to get the most out of your Sonos system, it's best to have multiple speakers. That way you can have music playing throughout your entire house. Sonos has a wide variety of speakers that can be paired together so that they can be used sort of simultaneously. Their speakers range in size, quality, price, and some of them even have the built-in Amazon Alexa or Google Assistant. While speakers are paired in the same room, they can work together ultimately to create a more detailed, more immersive sound. Now, some different examples of Sonos speakers include the Sonos One, which is the basic option. It has a built-in Alexa and a built-in Google Assistant. There's the Sonos 5, which is a high-quality speaker. It pairs well with the other speakers from Sonos. There's the Sonos Arc, which is made to connect to TVs and to provide an immersive sound. And then there's the Sonos Beam, which is voice-enabled. It's smaller, but it's designed for smart TVs. Now, Sonos also offers other speakers, but the main speakers listed are really the big ones that Sonos wants to use that really are the ones meant for pairing together with one another. Now, the Sonos app is a way to easily control Sonos speakers. So there are multiple apps for Sonos. One of them is Sonos S1, and there's also Sonos S2. Sonos S2 is the one that's newer, and it's compatible with every speaker, while Sonos S1 is older, and it's only compatible with older speakers. Now, these apps are free, and you can download them on both iOS and Android. Now, to set up these speakers, you'll want to firstly download a Sonos app, and then you'll also need to have your speaker plugged into an outlet. Make sure it's close enough to a router so that it can connect to the Wi-Fi relatively easily. Now, once you've done that, you can open the app, and you'll see a button that says Set up a new Sonos system. Unless you're using an Ethernet cable, you'll want to select Standard Setup. So once you've pressed Standard Setup, you should be able to select any available Sonos speakers within your house. The app will tell you to press certain buttons on the speaker to connect it, and depending on the speaker you have, the process for setting up each individual speaker might be different. So once you've followed the instructions in the app itself, the speaker will play a sound and a light will light up. Then the app will ask to make sure if you see this. Once you've done that, the speaker should be connected, and the app should allow you to use that speaker to control. The app should allow you to control that speaker using your phone. Now, some other options for speaker systems are Yamaha, Bose, Logitech, Nakamichi, and Sony. And finally, we can go to smart speakers. Now, these are small voice-activated speakers that connect to the internet and respond to commands. You can ask your smart speaker to play music, provide news, or weather reports, or even conduct web searches and even more. The sound quality of these might not be as loud or as clear as some other single purpose speakers, but you might have often heard of these ones. For example, you have the Google Home and the Amazon Echo. Now, we also have done a past webinar on this one. If you have the slideshow, you can click the link here to watch that past webinar on AI assistants. Now, Google Home is a commonly known speaker system, a smart speaker, a commonly known smart system, as well as Amazon Echo. Now, Google Home is available from stores like Best Buy and Walmart for around $50. The Google Home Mini is smaller, even quieter, and even cheaper if you want a smaller option. Now, the Google Homes, they're voice activated, and first and foremost, you have to plug them into a power outlet, like some of the previous speakers mentioned. You can activate them by saying, "Hey Google," and they'll turn on and be ready to answer any questions or requests that you may have. Now, the Amazon Echo is similar. It's the Amazon version of the Google Home, if you will, and they come in several different sizes. Now, the artificial intelligence, that sort of part of the Amazon Echo, is called Alexa, and these ones are a bit cheaper on the small end, but also a bit more expensive on the large end. You can buy a smaller version for around $40, but if you want a bigger one, that might go upwards for $300. And like the Google Home, they can be purchased at Best Buy, Walmart, but also the source and from Amazon. Now they're voice activated, and when they're activated and plugged into a power source, they respond to the Alexa prompt. So if you have one of these, you just say Alexa and ask a question, and the Amazon Echo will try to help you by answering that question or by responding to your prompt. Now let's do a live demo, right? So what we've got here is the Best Buy website. What we're going to want to do is see if we can find any speakers on the website. So what we want to do is go to shop, right? And then we can see shop by category. And if we scroll down a little bit, there should be an option that says headphones, speakers, and audio. If we click on that, and we see shop all, if we click on that, we can see several options, right? We can see portable Bluetooth speakers, for example. We want to go to that, right? We can click shop now. Give the website some time to load. And then we should be able to see some options for portable Bluetooth speakers once the website loads, that is. For example, we can shop by brand. We can see JBL, as we mentioned before. We can see Bose. We can see Ultimate Ears. Let's go to Ultimate Ears. Let's see what they have, right? And then we can see that they have, well, here's their Mega Boom 3, as we mentioned earlier, right? It's one of the options that they have. Or you can go down. The Mega Boom 3 seems to be pretty popular. Then we can have the Hyper Boom as well, or the Wonder Boom 2. Those are all some options, right, that you can buy from the Best Buy website. Or if we want to go to a wireless multi-room speaker, like a speaker system, we can click this link, the Shop Now button, and that'll take us to a web page that has the options for shopping for multi-room speakers or speaker systems. Just have to wait for that to load. And then here we can see the Sonos 5 wireless, as we mentioned before. We can see the Sonos Move, a lot of Sonos options here. And then, oh, there's the Sonos Port as well. There's the Gymax Portable 15. That's another option as well. There's the Bose Home Speaker 500. As you can see, there are so many options, right? If you want a home speaker or a speaker in general, right? And it's important to sort of consider what you're looking for in a speaker, right? What you sort of want to get out of your speaker when you're buying for one, right? And luckily for us, we live in an era where we can easily sort of search for these and where we can sort of find one that really suits our own needs. So I think that's more or less it for the live demo. Thank you for listening. Make sure if you want to sort of go over the lesson, you can go to the Cyber Seniors website, or you can call Cyber Seniors from the phone number 1-844-217-3057, or You can do that to register for a one-on-one phone session. We also host weekly tech drop-in sessions from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday. And that's more or less it. Yeah. Thanks for listening.